I think
Hello.
this mic. Can you all hear me? Okay, great. First of all, thank you for all being here on this rainy morning. I think it adds a lot of atmosphere to the event. And I think there's some great energy coming from this audience, and I'm looking forward to this session. One of the authors I've also had the privilege of working with is, of course, Mrs. Murthy, and we are here to talk about her latest book, which is called Common Yet Uncommon. Yeah, I think you can hear me better. So, this is a collection of 14 stories from daily life, and it reflects on a huge variety of characters and situations. It features some very uncommon, yet very relatable characters from Mrs. Murthy's hometown in North Karnataka. Spanning different age groups and walks of life, these mostly women stand out for their peculiar habits, selfless generosity, witty charm, adventurous spirit, sometimes miserly ways, and sometimes even romantic incompatibility. Now, I want to start with Mrs. Murthy reading from this book because it gives the social fabric of a small town really beautifully while celebrating the cultural ethos which binds her beloved community in North Karnataka. So I'm not even going to waste 1 minute introducing Mrs. Murthy. I don't need to. So let's start first of all with the reading so you can get a feel of this book, which will be for sale, and Mrs. Murthy will be signing books after that. Over to you, Mrs. Murthy.
Good morning to everyone. Meru, I think you should read that book. Okay.
No, I think people want to hear from you, and it'd be lovely for you to read.
Which book, which chapter you want to read?
So there are some really fascinating characters in the book, and we're going to start with one called Bundle Bindu. So if you can just choose any passage about Bundle Bindu. Mrs. Murthy herself is a character in this book. And right at the end of this session, we're going to read a passage where you can see her. And I want you all to not worry. I'm going to leave lots of time for audience questions at the end, because I know that all of you want to interact with Mrs. Murthy. So we'll leave lots of time for that as well.
Okay, thank you. I don't want to spend a lot of time on reading, but some portion I would like to read today. That is Bindu Madhav Patil. I did not know his address and I was hesitant to ask him because in our city there are no mains and crosses for any location. The address shared by the people, they are rather descriptive. Like if I have to ask for the address to our home, Dr. Kulkarni's house, I would have to trace his family history first. It would go something like this. The doctor is a good man. He has a white dog who always sleeps near the gate. When stranger comes, he becomes friendly and welcomes them. Whenever the dog gets upset with its people, the doctor has only one son, and he is married to a Punjabi girl. Then it would be easy for the person to whom I would have asked this address to recollect the direction to the home. He would go something like this. Oh, that Dr. Kulkarni, it's very easy. Take a left, then first right, and then first left. Left side, third house. Okay? This is how we live in Hubli, actually. I wondered how Bindu will tell his address. But Bindu said, Nali, it's so simple. Take a bus to Netaji Nagar. Get off the last stop. Take 10 steps ahead. There you have a big hoarding of Kirti stores. The store owner is a close friend of mine. You just mention my name and he will accompany you and drop you to my house. I was surprised by these directions. Are you sure? I asked him. Nali, don't ask too many questions. You are a high school student. That time in this book, I was a student, okay? This is the address I have given to everyone, and they reached my home without a problem. Hesitantly, I took the Netaji Nagar bus. I got off at the last stop as per his direction. I walked 10 steps ahead. There was nothing. I walked 100 steps. There was nothing. I could do anything. I continued to walk another 200 steps, and yet could not see any hoarding of Kirti stores. Helplessly, I asked the passers-by on the road, where is the Kirti stores? The man said, you have come too far. You should have gotten down one step before the last stop. What should I do now? In a detached tone, he said, walk back the way you have come. And I did, I did just that. Soon enough, I saw a small cardboard hoarding hanging on the electric pole. On it, Kirti stores was written in chalk. Bindu's big hoarding was nowhere in the sight. That's enough, I suppose.
Thank you. as you can see, there are some delightful characters in the book. And above all, it is a beautiful depiction of growing up in a small town. And my first question to you is, what do you think it is about small town life growing up that was an inspiration to you even today? What, how do you think small towns have changed from then and now? And what changes and what remains constant?
Well, I came from small town. In normally small town, everybody knows everyone. Unlike Bombay, Delhi, Bangalore, you don't even know your neighbors. But in Hubli, everyone knows everyone. It has an advantage, it has a disadvantage. And more than that, it is like a big family. It is a big family. So whenever something happens in anybody's house, people do come and help. This is before mobile era or before a smartphone era. Now today, even some small town, people are addicted to mobile and particularly phones. So they are very busy in WhatsApp than helping others or talking about someone. I have a friend actually. She is MA and she is alone. So I asked her, how do you spend your time? She said, I don't have any time. I said, what happened? Are you working? She said, no. I have group LKG, first standard up to MA final. I have that many WhatsApp groups. So morning 8 o'clock I get one message, then I have to send it to all the 11. Then they have emojis like this, etc., all direction. Then I have to send that to all those people. They will send something. He said, like a chakra view, I start 8. Up to 8 in the night, I don't get time. This is the way how things have changed. But in olden days, or in the days when I grew up, where you care for people, where we always say, adjustment is very important in a smaller town because you see them every day. It is not that, you can afford to not to see their face every day. You have to see them. So you have to get adjusted to each other and help each other. I've been, whatever personality you see me today, whatever way my character has been formed, it is only because I grew up a small town, learning big things from a small people. And that's the reason common, I call it uncommon. These people have not got any award. No Padma Shri, no Padma Bhushan, nothing. But I learnt, helping others by Hema. Love for mother tongue from Bandal Bindu. Okay? And the person of Jivan, I think Jivraj or someone I have called, Maidar Jivraj, how he told me at the end how women are so important, girls are so important in life. There are many things I learned, and then I felt I should make a sketch of each character. And I have become Nalini in that. So the book is a mala or the garland of all pearls. Each one is a pearl. I am the common thread.
So, Mrs. Murthy, as you say, you are writing about very simple people living quite simple lives, but the themes are quite profound. My question to you is, what is the most important life lesson or lessons that you learned from the characters in your book?
I learned life, you can live happily in your life if you want to be happy. Your happiness is within you, not outside. Not somebody should appreciate, then I'm happy. Somebody should give me an award, I'm happy. Somebody should buy all my books, then I'll be happy. No, not that way. If I have a lot of wealth, I'll be happy. It is not that. Your happiness lies within you. And don't give it to someone and ask from them. Ask from them, okay, you do this one, then I'll be happy. No. Your happiness lies within you. Unleash your happiness and enjoy every moment of life. We do not know what is tomorrow. Kal ho na ho. Second thing is, life brings a lot of surprises, good and bad both. Live every day happily as much as possible and help others. That's what I learned from from all these characters, and that is the philosophy even today I live. I don't depend on someone should praise me, I will be happy. I never do that. Today they will praise, tomorrow they don't praise, then I should be unhappy. Best is you keep your happiness within you.
I think we need to give you a huge round of applause for this beautiful thought on this Sunday morning, that happiness is indeed within you. I couldn't agree with you more. Now, I'm going to tell you that we are making it sound like this book is full of very goody-goody characters, but that is not the case. So, Mrs. Murthy has an incredibly wicked eye, and she can be very wicked, I assure you. And one of the things which I found most interesting about the book is your incredible curiosity, which is the mark of a true writer. And as you can see, there's this young character, you as a young girl, who is very curious and sometimes downright nosy, like you know, about other people's business.
Yeah.
So I want you to tell the audience, have you always been a very curious person, and how has your own curiosity shaped you both as a writer and as a person?
Of course, I was nosy also. So when you read in this book, 90% are actually my own observation, except meeting this Narayan Murty, the last chapter is not true. Okay? The
I think she just wants to get that out of the way first.
The last chapter is Lunchbox Nalini. My name in this book is Nalini, but Lunchbox Nalini's story is mine except meeting Narayan Murty because I met him in a different circumstances. But I'm very fond of lunchboxes. That's the reason on that book, you can see the lunchbox. I'm very fond of, because I'm fond of food. So wherever I go to anybody's house, anybody's wedding, after the wedding I said, okay, this sambar was good, the sweet was good, something is good. I always carry a lunch box with me. And I'll fill it up for the night.
Do you have one with you today?
No. Now, you know what has happened when you grow old, you can't eat that much. I'm ready to take lunch box, but I can't eat that much. So Leela people should be very careful. I might take it one more, you know, from...
If the manager of the Leela Hotel is here, you know what to give Mrs. Murthy is a lunch box.
So I was very nosy. Two people are talking, you know, in the corner.
Eavesdropping also.
Yeah, if two people were talking when I was a young girl of 10 years, I will stand there. I will observe what they are talking, on whom they are talking. And my grandmother used to get so upset. You can't send Sudha to any place. She told me one day, go and get a kg of jaggery. I went there, but this, you know, Jalash, Janaki, Vandal, Bindu, such characters were always there. They will sit and talk, and I'll be standing there. I will go after 2 hours. My grandmother said she must have met some 2 people or 3 people fighting or talking or something. She must have stood. If there's any village fight, then I was so curious to know why they are fighting. I will not go home. I always tell, oh, I can skip lunch, but I want to know why they are fighting. You can always get lunch. But I was so curious to know why 2 people fight so much. And particularly, you know, when they divide the property in a village, how they divide. I used to go and sit there. My grandmother said, why are you worried? Somebody's property is divided. I said, no, who gets what? I want to know. Okay? So this character, what I have written in that book is really my character. You, to some extent, I'm not nosy, but I still want to know. You know, when I meet somebody, you're from which place, which college, because I'm a teacher, whether it's my college or not, my student or not. In Bangalore, then you're from which village, because I must have traveled in that village. Somehow I want to know more about people, where they come from, because for me, a person is not just a person is a book. And I'm reading a book, okay? When I talk to someone reading a book, a fight is not a fight for me. It's a situation where 2 people become so aggressive and forget why they are fighting. The real reason is something and they bring it out something else. For me, it may appear in my next book. Okay? Go to a wedding and sit in a corner and observe. The wedding is going on, but how boys are looking at girls, girls are looking at boys. Because that may appear in one of my novels. So
it does.
So, you know, I'm very curious. The day I stop learning, the day I don't observe, I think I will consider myself I'm old. Though I have gray hair. Gray hair is nothing to do with my nature. Okay? I'm always young at heart.
She is a child at heart. And I think that's another beautiful thing which you have said and that I took away from the book is never lose the curiosity of a child. Because in the book, you see she as a child is literally everywhere, watching, observing, and most of the time the adults don't notice because they think that children don't understand. But she uses that to advantage very well because people try in the book to extract information from you as a child and even bribe you sometimes to...
Yeah. Giving a laddu, that lady, in this book it comes, she gives me a laddu and says, who were the guests who came? That's in a small town, no? I saw some guests coming to your house. What's the reason? I said, I said, I do not know. Then she gave me a laddu. Then I said, yeah. Somebody came from Satyanarayan Puja. I said, why there is Satyanarayan Puja now? I said, my sister-in-law is expecting a baby, which we never told until she was 3 months or 4 months, But she wanted to know how elders play tricks on kids and get information, and how gullible kids are getting laddu. And, in those days, laddu was important. Today's children, you give laddu, they say, no, I want chocolate, and they go away. Or they don't even take chocolate, their parents have given much more than that. So, my time, this is the best way to get information from children. And, my grandmother thought, I will not understand. She said the one word. What is love? She says, patience is love. At the end, if you are patient to someone, that you love that person. That means you will do barakhun maaf. You know that person does a mistake. If you love that person, you say, that's okay. And when your patience comes down with that person, then you start fighting. And that's what in that book I have written there. At the end she says, what is that which holds marriage? It is affection, love. That means patience holds a marriage at the end. It's a great philosophy, but in a child's point of view, I have written that.
I think you've said it so well because one of the things which comes through in the book is you look at your characters with a lot of love, that they have their lot of flaws. They're not perfect people. Each one has good things about them and they have bad things about them, which is, but you're never judgmental about them. And I really love that about the book. So tell me, are you in touch with any of the people in the book? Have they read the book? What were the reactions?
Oh, I know most of them are not there. I'm only now 73. So, they were 20 years older to me because I was 8 years kid in the book, 8, 10, 12 years old. They are not there. But Bandal Bindu, when he was alive, he told me, he read that. He read that, but I wrote this book in Kannada, with a different flavor. With the Kannada dialect, I added that. And he read that, he said me, you should give me part of the royalty. Okay? I appeared in your book. Hema told me, good that you wrote about selfless work so that people can do that kind of work through others. So they showed different reaction for this book.
I think
even the rain wants to hear.
Yeah, the rain wants to eavesdrop on our conversation.
Yeah.
You wrote this book in Kannada first.
20 years back.
20 years ago. And one of the things which is lovely about it, it has a very particular flavor. And can you tell us a little more about the dialect in North Karnataka that you obviously love so much?
Yeah. I'm sure every state has north, south, east, west, and their dialects are different. Like in Kerala, you have North Kerala, South Kerala, in Maharashtra, Vidarbha and Pune side. So in Rajasthan also nearer the border and away from the border. So your dialect goes on changing. And I observed every 150 kilometers you travel, your dialect change. And our land, northern Karnataka, is divided by the river Tungabhadra. It has been ruled by Adil Shahis, Adil Shahis, Shia Adil Shahis, Sunni Mughals, great Marathas, and and the Kannada Emperor Krishnadevaraya and British India. So in our language, we have dialects of Urdu, Persian, Marathi, Old Kannada, and a part of Gujarati. I do not know how we have picked up that. So my Kannada is so different than my husband's Kannada. He's the other side of the Tungabhadra. He says, like I always tell, marrying a same Kannada person, but other side of the river is marrying a foreigner. Because, we don't eat rice. We eat rice when you are sick. And they eat rice like a South Indian every day. So I felt, your people are so sick that you eat rice every day. That extent. So it varies from area to area. And these characters will appear in every state. They are not unusual characters. They are very normal characters. They will appear in every state with a different name, different flavor. And that's the reason I say it is more relevant to all Indian states. This book is more relevant to all Indian states. And you come across all such characters, but you do not know how, you feel that, I knew this one, how I did not remember. Yeah.
Now, I want to ask the audience a question first. How many of you are aspiring writers? I want to know. Raise your hands. Don't be shy. Okay, so there's quite a few aspiring writers in the audience. Can you tell us a little bit about your creative process? So we know that you're very curious. And how do you take that and turn that into a book? Because a lot of people in the audience will want to know because they want to write books too.
See, I can tell my experience, but that is not a rule. Everybody has a different rule. My rule, I will tell you. For me, writing is my expression of my emotions. When I'm happy, when I'm sad, all the time I like to write. That's one. Second thing, writing requires a discipline. Discipline means not every day I have to write 20 lines, not that way. If you take it up, you have to think properly, you have to do research, and then you have to sit and write. Okay, I will write 5 days and just disappear for 2 months and again write. No, I won't do that. I make a preparation for a novel 2 to 3 years. 2 to 3 years. And then I will write. Writing column what I see outside will not take much time. Writing about my own dog Gopi took 4 hours for me, only 4 hours. Okay? Because Gopi I see every day. But creating Gopi stories takes maybe a week's time. So, aspiring writers, I want to tell first, prepare your story in your mind and read a lot. To write well, you should read a lot. You should read a lot, you should know. You can't hear? Yeah, you read a lot. Try to know different types of writing methods, What suits you, you have to find out. Don't copy anybody. You have to create your own. You create your own. Then you can write better.
Thank you. I think we want to leave enough time for audience questions. So I think I'm going to now open it up for questions. But we talked earlier today and we said we're going to tell you what we're not going to talk about. So Mrs. Murty, do you want to tell us the topics that we're not going to cover in questions?
Well, I'm very happy to answer the questions. But don't ask something about politics. Don't ask something about my son-in-law. Okay? Because everybody will ask me and I know him as a son-in-law. That's all. My other things I do not know. Don't ask about Narayan Murthy 70 hours. I'm sure you know this joke. My mother told me once, some visitors came to our house and he had a nose operation. There was something sick.
I think Mr. Murthy has increased the volume.
So, there was something on his nose. My mom told me, when he comes, you should not ask about his nose. Okay? You know this, and it really happened with me. When he came, lunch was served, and then he was about to leave, I said, Amma, you told me not to ask about his nose, but his nose, he doesn't have a proper nose at all, I told him. That kind of a nosy I was. So what I want to tell you that, don't ask about Murthy 70 hours, Rishi, no politics, and who gave you inspiration and all, don't ask, because inspiration and all is when you are young age. Later you want to write, that is important. So some of these questions don't ask, otherwise whatever questions you ask, in my limited knowledge, I will try to answer.
So now you have been warned. So, all right, who's going to take the first question? Who has the mic? Okay, let's start here.
जिसके हाथ में लाठी है उसका भैंस, ऐसा ही है वो. जिसके हाथ में mic is there, who is the person who can talk?
Hello, ma'am. Great fan of yours.
Tell me the question directly.
The question is that have you ever considered going or experimenting with another genre?
Genre, yes. I have written for children. I have written for adults. I have written for. I have written travelogues and computer books. What is other genre? You tell me. If I feel like writing, I write. Not because it sells well, not because somebody wants it. No, I can't do. How much masala I have, that much sambar only I prepare. I don't add water just because somebody wants it. No. Next.
Who's next? Let's start with this lady over here.
Ma'am, when I was hearing that you are very nosy and you are very curious, I am the same, but it is very difficult for your spouse to handle it.
Oh, sorry, can you just speak up? We can't hear you.
Am I audible now?
Tell me.
Ma'am, when you were speaking about yourself, that you are very curious and you are very nosy, what's happening there? I feel that it's my story kind of, but it is very difficult for your spouse to handle it. When you have a spouse who is very innocent and very disciplined, and when you be a nosy person, it's very hard it might be hard for sir. So how you both handle that situation that you want to go in a fight, he want to go and sit and relax?
Yeah. Nosy does not mean non-innocent. And one who keeps quiet doesn't mean that he's innocent. No, that means a chupe rustum. Okay?
Thank you for clearing that.
Yeah. People who don't talk much are more dangerous than people who talk. Because,
Mr. Murthy, I hope you are watching this live stream.
no, Mr. Murty and I are different characters. My husband is very serious. He says, why have to laugh so much? Okay? And Mr. Murty is extremely, well disciplined in the sense his eating methods are fixed. He doesn't talk much. Maybe 5-6 sentences a day at home. Okay? I tell him, because you talk 5-6, the remaining I have to talk. Okay? But we have understanding. We have understanding that everybody should lead their life the way they want. That's very important. I can't become Murthy. Murthy can't become Sudha Murty. So I like to, two people are fighting, I like to go and stand there,
I think that somebody in the audience needs to have a fight now so we can watch.
I can see. And now, because I'm old, so I want to advise now, okay? Whether they like it or not, no, beta, I should not be like this. So all this marriage counseling and all, I have a lot of marriage counseling students, patients, whatever you call. I used to teach in college. When they fall in love, they will come, then I will convince them, yes or no, whatever way. And after they marry, they come for counseling, fighting, okay? So Murthy said, you should have been a marriage counselor. So, and what they do at the end, they do whatever they want. But I'll be in between giving some prasad like that, saying, no, this is like that. Because that's my character. You should live the way you believe in, and you should live in you should have confidence in you. Not because Mr. Murthy is like that, I should become like him. No. Let him be what he is. I'll be like what I am. Still, we can be good friends and married. And we are married for 46 years. We know each other for 50 years. Because if anybody knows mathematics here, I can tell you, A complement makes a universal set. You have some characters, he has some characters, you together make one whole character. Okay? You are not opposite. Black opposite is white. Okay? Day opposite is night. Husband opposite, not wife. Husband's part is wife, wife's part is husband. Two together make one unit.
That's such a beautiful piece of advice. Thank you. All right. We have a young
give a chance to a man. All the time we are giving to
I'll
men.
give you pick up a next person.
That black suit. Sometimes you should
he's
also
a child.
Sometimes you should also consider men,
Yeah, okay.
Upper one.
Point taken.
Though women are smarter than them. All men think they have the power. They are very smart. Women are smarter than them. Allow them to think that way and do your work. Okay?
I love the pearls of wisdom today.
No, nature has made women smarter than men. She undergoes labor pain. She undergoes many difficulties. She is a daughter-in-law, mother-in-law, sister-in-law, daughter, and many roles. So she is a good HR person. God has gifted her that talent and her mind. She is smarter. Okay? But they don't unleash the potential. They don't unleash the potential. All women, unleash your potential. Allow your men to think they are smart and do work smarter than them.
Okay.
Yes, mother.
Ma'am, can you tell us about the letter you wrote to JRD Tata?
Beta, that's a very old one. Okay, read a book. I've written a book, I think, how I taught my grandmother, approach JRD. They are the 50 years back story. Ask something, nearer, the latest one, which is a good movie and all such things, okay. I wrote to JRD Tata in the year 1974, exactly 50 years back. Exactly 50 years back, I wrote to him that you should treat men and women equal. And then I got a job at Telco, and after 50 years, I went to Tata Motors recently, after 50 years. When I joined, I was the only lady. Now there are 800 women. I cried. No, I cried because I remembered my father and I cried. The problem was not with me, with my father. My father was such a nice man. He was a doctor. He had 3 daughters. I was the middle one who went to engineering, and people used to look down upon me. Iska bheja barabar nahi. How can she go to engineering? Is it ever possible a woman doing engineering in a small town? Disadvantage of a small town. Everybody will talk, and they will come and advise my father. Dr. Saab, your daughter is in a teenage, no brain. She will do all these things. You should not allow her to go to engineering college. It is never, a woman can never become an engineer. Only men can become. Now, if your daughter if your daughter is an engineer, who will marry her? So there was so much worry about in a small town, who will marry me if I become engineer? Because in Hubli, nobody would have married me. They did not know across the river Tungabhadra, there existed Narayan Murty. So I remembered my father. People used to advise him. Today there are 800 engineers in the same place where I was working. I always salute or J.R.D. Tata giving an opportunity to a small town girl with no influence, with no money, no political connection, nothing. Asking him the fundamental question, what if you don't allow women to work, 50% of India's population is paralyzed, a country will not progress.
And,
Thank you.
And in fact, if I'm not wrong, this letter is in the Tata Museum now, the Tata Bombay
Website.
House, their main headquarters. There is a
That.
museum of their history where this letter is very prominently displayed.
Yeah.
All right, let's give a question to a man, the man in the black shirt over there. Jacket, sorry.
Yeah.
Hello.
Yes.
Sudhaji, just now you said we should live the life in the way we want to lead.
As
It is
long
in our
as,
dreams.
as long as legally, ethically right.
Yeah, exactly. It's ethically right, but life many times bring us to a crossroad when we need to take decisions based on the people who are with us rather than the way we want to lead the life, and we need to take calls because of people who are with us, they trust us. So in such crossroads, what kind of decisions we should take? I want to hear your experience.
Thank you. I have done that one. Lead your life the way you want does not mean at the cost of everything. For example, I wanted to continue my work, but I stepped down and became a housewife for 5 years until my children grew up. You have to adjust at that moment. What I want to say is, what is benefit in the family you should do. And whatever role you get in that, the way you want. For example, I never worked for 5 years. My husband started Infosys. And 5 years I adjusted and became a housewife. Those 5 years, I wanted to read and write. I wrote 3 books. Okay? And I traveled what I could do. So given set of circumstances, within that circumference, lead a life what you want to do. No, that you can do, but still you get your own, it's like a map. Everybody will fit in that, and your place has some circumference, and in that you have to live the way you want. That's what I have done. I have adjusted to many circumstances because that is good for the family. But the moment it came in my in my liberty, whatever I have in that, I have led the life the way I want, not depending on somebody should praise me, somebody should help me. No, I should be helping myself. That is what the way I want. I don't want anybody should help me. Atmaihi atmano bandhur, atmaihi ripu atmana. Who is your best friend? Not your children, not your husband, nobody, you yourself. Who is your worst enemy? Not your mother-in-law, not your daughter-in-law, you yourself. So that is what I call live the way you want. You want to do very well, change your lifestyle, change your thinking, do very well. You don't want to do, you be lazy and be happy in that only. Okay? It is left to you. It is left to you the way you want. Thank you.
You've said something very important, and I just want to touch upon this a little bit more. Has there been a time in your life when you have done something which you still live with the regret of it?
Well, when Mr. Murthy told me, I think I have a session in the evening, that I can't join Infosys and I have to step down, it was extremely difficult for me because I'm a technical person. And Murthy has his own logic, I had my own logic. Like what Mr. Gentleman said that way. Now in the family, both of us cannot ride the same vehicle. What to do? Now I said, okay, I will look after children and let him do Infosys. And when my time comes, I will do. And I believed in myself, sometime I will find out. And for 2-3 years, I used to feel, I did not join Infosys as a technical person. But 1996, I started Infosys Foundation. Now, when I look back, I say it was the best decision probably fate had for me, because I would have retired as a director of Infosys if I would have joined. But after starting Infosys Foundation, I could touch the lives of so many people. God closed one window to me, but He opened the door to me so that I could do so much work. I could do so much work. Because I could do so much work, I could write so much. The regret, I have 2 regrets in my life. One is, I do not know swimming. Because I came from an area where there was a water shortage. Forget about swimming. Getting drinking water was a problem. And there was no idea of swimming. Second, I am 73 years old. When I was in school, there was no yoga in those days. Women, no sports class for us. Can you imagine? Not go sports, no sports. I came from an area, no sports for women. So I regret that I should have learned yoga, sports, and swimming, because they are also a very essential part of life. It removes your stress, it makes you more fit, and it is something which I would have enjoyed more. These are the regrets I have.
Thank you. There's a lady over here. Can we get the mic to her, please? Yes, you. No.
Yeah, I can see your face.
Since we only have about 6 minutes left, I can ask you to please keep your questions to the point.
And don't on exaggerating, since you are a great author and all, I'm ordinary, I know about it. I know what I am, okay?
It's a very strict
Straight
Q&A.
question.
Okay. First of all, just from the bottom of my heart, I am trying to keep touch your feet because I am standing here.
Only I have 5
because of
questions.
you.
Question.
6 seconds, 6 minutes.
Okay. Ma'am, please tell me only one strong factor that keep us inspiring always till we are alive.
How can I do that? I'm not Krishna, Bhagavad Gita, Atma, okay? One word, all of you listen. I'm not a Swamiji. One word, all of you listen. I'm an ordinary person. One word is, have patience in life. It pays you at the end. Yes. Have patience, which is so difficult to get over.
Okay, now we're going to ask a man. The man with the bag over there.
Yeah. Men, please raise your hands.
Yeah, I can see.
When I go to
Green
engineering
sweater and
college,
bag.
in my engineering college, in instrumentation, there are 60% girls, 40% boys. I tell girls, please look after minority people, Once upon a time, I was minority. Please look after them. Boys are shy. Please allow them to be a little more aggressive and all. Yes, beta.
Yeah.
Ask.
No questions, ma'am. Just want to add.
No, we're only taking questions. No comments, please. Only questions.
Small statement. I know women are smarter than men, but it always takes a smart man to find a smarter woman.
My God, you beat me. Okay.
You win.
Because they pretend in front of men they are not smart. So smart man feels, I found out
Give it
this.
to that man over there
Anyway,
first.
thanks. Very
No
good,
comments,
very good
no
statement.
comments, yeah.
I will use somewhere else that one. Where there are a lot of men are there, I will use that.
Hello.
It's now rapid fire.
Audible. Mrs. Murthy, just tell me. Thinking is there, everybody is fan of you. Some of them, they told me, you have branded yourself as a very normal, very down-to-earth female.
Oh.
Is it true? Is it true? Have you deliberately branded this, or it is actually?
Actual, what you see me, you get that.
Thank you. That's all. That's all. I'll
And,
tell
and
them.
can I say, I
Yeah,
have known Mrs.
because why
Murthy
should
for
I
a
do
long time,
deliberate?
and that is exactly what she's like.
My friends told me I have to defend. That's why I wanted to hear from you. That's all.
Then
Thank
I
you.
will tell you, people can talk anything because media is free, WhatsApp is free. You have to charge WhatsApp, okay? Facebook is free, Instagram is free. Chalo, what they want, they will write. कुछ तो लोग कहेंगे, लोगों का काम ही कहना.
She
To be
really is
simple,
like
I
that.
want to tell you.
Always
I have
good.
lived like this for ever since I am in school, in college, when I did not have money, when I have money. Because this is the way I enjoy doing that. That's the reason I live like this.
I think one of the most beautiful things about you is that you have not been defined by money.
I'm not a rich man's daughter, but I married an unemployed man, but I became rich after some time.
Hello, ma'am. So my question is, what is your thought process when you write book for kids? What are the important elements you consider?
Thank you. It's a good question.
Yeah, good question.
It takes couple of days for me to come down to, please sit down. It takes couple of days for me to come down to become a kid in my mind. When your mind becomes like a child, then you can see everything with happiness, with a positive angle. Everything you enjoy, a good rain like this, a flower blooming, blood to flower, red flower blooming. But you look at the bud, look at the flowers. Everything is so beautiful. So when you are a child, your mind is not contaminated, you are positive, you are full of energy, then I'll be able to write. After some time, it takes 2-3 days for me to grow up. And sometimes I think I remain like that only. So you can see me in the same process now. To be a child is the most important thing to write children book. In your mind, you should be a child inside. Then you can write what exactly they think you understand. This is my way.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Last 2 minutes?
Now,
one question, I suppose.
One more question. Yeah, you can go.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
सिंपल सवाल पूछना चाहूँगा मैं
सुनाई नहीं दे
आप हेलो
हाँ, सुनाई नहीं देता है.
आपने थोड़ी देर पहले बोला कि आजकल पेरेंट्स बच्चों को लड्डू नहीं देते हैं चॉकलेट देते हैं और वो भी जो उनको जरूरत नहीं उससे ज़्यादा देते हैं तो ऐसा क्या है रीज़न कि मतलब आजकल ऐसा पेरेंट्स क्यों कर रहे हैं या क्या रीज़न इसके पीछे कि आजकल चॉकलेट और लेज पे ज़्यादा डिपेंडेंट्स हो गए हैं पेरेंट्स बच्चों को देना ही चाहते हैं या दे रहे हैं क्या रीज़न मतलब पेरेंट्स में ऐसा क्या है चेंजेस आने का रीज़न
I will tell you, because you have only one child, that's the reason. 1 or 2 children. But more than that, parents feel the more we give, the children will be smarter. अरे हमारे ज़माने में हमको इतना चॉकलेट नहीं था, हम बच्चों को दे देंगे. अरे the more you give, the less joy they will have later in life. The more ration you do, they will enjoy, they will wait for chocolate. I request all mothers here, make sweets 4 times in a year, not more than that. They should wait for the festival. Otherwise, today what happens, go to Haldiram, get the half kg sweet. Go to somewhere else, get another half kg sweets. Children don't look forward for anything because they lost that enthusiasm to wait. Instant gratification has come. Thanks to smartphones, they are it's good to have, but that also makes you instant gratification. Don't do instant gratification immediately. Patience, waiting, then what joy you get is very important. And we should not give what children ask. They ask cycle, you get a motor car. You tell them cycle, no? Nobody asks cycle nowadays. Anyway, you tell them, okay, after 6 months, postpone it all your gifts for every 6 months. And when it's inevitable, then only you buy. There will be a peer pressure. There will be lot of demands. I think the time is up. Thank you very much for patient hearing. I always enjoy talking to my audience. I feel I'm a teacher. You're all my students. Thank you.
Thank you for being such a brilliant audience, and thank you to Mrs. Murty. Let's give her a huge round of applause, please. Huge round of applause.